an update on the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. Now remember, earlier this year, he was accidentally deported to El Salvador and begrudgingly brought back when even the Trump administration admitted he was deported by mistake. He was protected by a 2019 judge's order to protect him from gang violence in El Salvador. And then when he was brought back, they filed criminal charges against him in Nashville, where I've been following it. He's since been released on bond pending that trial. Well, now a judge is asking for assurances that he will not be deported against a court injunction from ICE, because ICE filed the notice last week that they want to send him to Liberia as soon as this Friday. Liberia being another of many African countries that has been added to the deportation list, where people are not from, countries where Kilmar Abrego Garcia has never been to Liberia, and they only seem to be picking countries that have a huge history of human rights violations. So when I go look at this article, and I went and I looked at left, right, center, all the articles say the same thing, that this judge was saying, I want you to give me assurance that you're not going to deport him in the face of this court order because you've been breaking all these other court orders. Here's the catchy thing about it. He has offered to self-deport himself to Costa Rica, and Costa Rica has said, we will accept you as a legal immigrant to come and be safe here, but ICE won't allow him to go. Because he embarrassed the Trump administration or because ICE is mad about something, they will not let him go to a country that has said, we will take him with open arms, we will take him and his family. They will not allow him to go there, but want to send him to fucking Liberia, which costs more money than to send, obviously, to transport someone to, say, Central America. And by the way, the Department of Homeland Security was the one that said it is costing them over $17,000 each time they have to deport someone. Not to mention the $96.7 billion we would lose in tax revenue if all undocumented migrants were deported. They also seem to forget that during Trump's first administration, the CMS released a research article that mass deportations would impoverish U.S. families and create immense social costs. Let me tell you about it. Removing undocumented residents from mixed households would reduce the median household income from $41,300 to $22,000, which is a drop of almost 20 grand, or 47%. This would plunge millions of U.S. families into poverty. If just 1/3 of U.S.-born children of undocumented residents remain in the U.S. to be raised, the cost of raising those children until they're 18 would be $118 billion. The nation's housing market would be jeopardized because the high percentage of the 1.2 million mortgages held by households with undocumented migrants as part of the family would be in peril. And the GDP would be reduced by 1.4% in the first year, and the cumulative GDP would be reduced by $4.7 trillion over 10 years. Not only is violating due process unconstitutional, but the numbers also don't add up. And I just closed down my personal training business to do this full time, and I'm using Ground News to help me do it. So if you go to groundnews.com/Monty, you can make all of the assessments and comparisons I just did in this video and save yourself time and stay well informed. You get 40% off their Advantage plan, which comes to about $5